Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of GMAT Success Talks. This is your host Sejal, and today we're diving into Bhanu's GMAT journey, a true roller coaster with ups and downs and a powerful comeback to 715 at the 99th percentile. If you've ever struggled with execution, consistency, or exam pressure, this session is for you. Hi Bhanu, welcome to GMAT Success Talks. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Sajal. Same here. Pleasure to meet you.
All right. So, Bhanu, could you quickly introduce yourself to our audience and give them your academic and professional background? And most
Sure,
importantly, why did you choose GMAT?
sure. Myself, Bhanu Prakash, and I am a computer science graduate who graduated in 2022 from RV College of Engineering, Bangalore. Um, I interned with this company in the school, in the college itself, and I got a pre-placement offer. And since then, I've been working in the same company as a software engineer, specializing in application security, mostly dealing with customer escalations and incidents as such. That's my work profile and why GMAT. I thought of taking an MBA because I wanted to pursue my long-term goal of a tech entrepreneurship, especially in cybersecurity area. So MBA sounded like a good opportunity to fill up those gaps, especially in some of the soft skills arena that I lack. Um, and yes, so that's why I chose MBA. And if you want to apply for a good business school, then a good proficiency test score suits it's sort of needed, and GMAT seemed the best for me. So that's why I chose GMAT, and I began my prep in August 2025.
All right.
Yeah.
So, let's begin with how the early phase of your preparation was like.
Mhm.
Where did you start with?
So I began it at August 2025. I took target test prep course and I started my journey there. So it was it did provide me with good basics, and it introduced me to the GMAT world. And after that, before giving the target test prep course, gave a diagnostic test. Then I got 645. So that's Quant 83, Verbal 83, and DI 80. And then I I wanted a methodical approach, so that's why I opted for target test prep course. And then yeah, I started prepping. After finishing the course, somewhere in I think in October, I saw that my performance wasn't up to the mark, whatever my expectation or target score was. So yeah, I took the coaching, especially for the verbal section from Marty Murray, and then yeah, and then I took my official GMAT attempt one. So that's how I started it.
All right. Okay. Okay. So now, Bhanu, I'll just display your prep timeline once again, right? As we can see in your score progression, you scored 675 in the first official attempt, but then we don't see much improvement in your subsequent attempts until the very last one. While we are going to discuss what changed before the last attempt, I
Mhm.
first want to know, how what do you think was causing this uneven performance in the first three attempts? Was it like conceptual gaps? Was it exam pressure? Was it maybe incorrect study methods? Tell us everything that you think was going wrong, and it was
Mhm.
preventing you, from your best performance.
Mhm. Sure. So right from the first attempt, sort of knew my ability that I could score 695 plus. That was my target. So I was sort of confident about that. But let's begin with the first attempt itself. So in there, it was my first time taking GMAT, so obviously I had some nerves, and I started with data insights section, and unfortunately my marker did not work as I expected it to, and I struggled a bit, and that nerves caused me to make some procedural errors in some problems, and that's what derailed or got me a lesser score in DI. And then other sections comparatively I did really well. So I still got a like 675, but I wasn't really happy with it. So that's why I went for the subsequent attempts. And yeah, in second attempt, like if you see between my preps, I took like set of 6 mocks again, and my average was way above 695. So I knew that like I had the ability to get there. So in the second attempt again, like I tried to be very conscious of the way I solve data insights and verbal, like not making those procedural errors. And I again got a good, decent score there. But after data insights and verbal section, I took a break. Like GMAT offers you a 10 minutes break, so I took that. And then once I was back to take quant section, I was very confident. I was like, I'm going to get a good score this time, and I started um, my exam. And then second question was a really hard one. I would have to say, like um, it threw me off my game a bit. So and because I'm an engineer, it hurt my ego. I would say that, and I sort of got stuck with that one question and for like 8 minutes, and
Oh,
then I had
okay.
no time for like last 10, 11 questions, so I had to mark them randomly, and I ended up
Hmm.
at 81. So yeah, I would say like that's one bad thing that you could do to yourself while taking tests. Don't get stuck on anything, and don't get take anything on your ego. It's a business decision to skip a question. So if I had done that, then definitely I would have surpassed 695 mark. So
Hmm.
yeah, like that's the story about the second attempt. Now coming to third attempt, because I had wasted good amount of time in one question, I sort of over corrected myself in the third attempt, where I rushed a bit in DI and verbal section, thinking that I am not gonna get enough time here. So I sort of rushed through the questions, and I made some procedural errors that usually I don't make. And then
Hmm.
quant went really well, mostly because I did bad in the other two sections. Quant was relatively easy, I guess, because of the adaptive nature of the test. So yeah, but then I didn't get the score that I wanted. I got a 665, which is okay, but yeah, and both were lower than my first attempt. So yeah, I was understandably a bit dull. But then and these three attempts were taken in succession, like around 15 or 30 day gap between the each attempt. So I had to sort of look into my plans and take a decision to give myself enough time to take a break from GMAT. So I went to a trek in the Himalayas and sort of did that self soul searching journey, and then came back fresh and started my prep again. And then yeah, I mean, last month of my prep, I took help from Ron Pureval. Like he's a great teacher, and he helped me to get things through perspective. And before my official attempt, I also took one of the official mock, which was which had repetitive questions definitely, but I still ended up in a good score. Like I got a 775. So my confidence was like really up because of that. And also I knew that I had made mistakes in the past, so I wasn't over excited or trying to over correct myself, or you know I was ready to skip this time. So I had that positive mindset. And one of the other things I did was like I really focused on not conceptual stuff, but also like uh, meditation and such kind of mindfulness stuff. So that also helped. And yeah, then I ended up in a good score.
So this was kind of, the pivotal point of your story, between the third and the fourth attempt, all these measures that you took, kind of boosted your score to the 99th percentile. Do you
Correct.
think you can elaborate on exactly how you took that journey between, your third and the fourth attempt, where you've taken all these measures of, meditating, and what was you thinking when, like, sometimes, we sit and think, okay, oh my god, what is going wrong, where am I going wrong, what should I do? So
Correct.
what was your thought, what were you thinking?
Yeah, so I was obviously pretty depressed after the, third attempt, and I had to take some time off for myself. So I did that, and then, yeah, I mean, I got back to solving OG. So I methodically solved OG again, and one thing I did was I tried to solve quant questions, each quant question in as many ways as possible, because in GMAT usually one method doesn't always work. So that's what I did. I spent around 5 to 10 minutes on each questions, even the easier ones, and solved them in multiple ways. Because quant was my strength, I couldn't afford to, lose too much. Like I couldn't afford to get too many incorrect answers there. So I was focusing on getting my strengths right. And then same like similar strategy for verbal as well. My reading comprehension was good. Critical reasoning sometimes on hard questions I had. But yeah, like I was okay in. Hey, am I audible?
Yeah, I lost
Okay.
you there for a bit, but yes, you're
Mhm.
audible now. Yes.
Great, great. So yeah, verbal again. I was good at reading comprehension. I had to dig down on some of the critical reasoning weakness areas that I had, um, especially in inference questions. So I, fixed that concept gap, and again, like solved OG questions methodically. One thing that worked for me well in verbal was setting a clear, precise goal, that what I'm supposed to accomplish in this question, and chasing that, and not also not doing not reading the prompt or the passage repetitively. If I didn't get the answer, I was happy to skip in verbal. So that's what I did. And DI was the most difficult section for me, because all my past attempts it didn't really go well. So I had to really figure out how to maximize my score there. So one thing that I was happy with was my data sufficiency was good, both in like verbal and quant, as well as like non-math related questions. So I was pretty confident at data sufficiency, and even graphical interpretation and table analysis for that matter. Those were also good, and my accuracy was almost always 90%, even on hard questions there. So I had to really dig down on those and practice, so that I don't make procedural errors on my strengths. So that's where I focused on more on. And two-part analysis as well as MSR, multi-source reasoning, was not as good as these two sections per se, but I try to get easy and medium questions almost always right there, and in time as well. So that's what I did for data insights. Other than that, like, for the mindfulness steps, so I am a very anxious person, to be honest, like especially because I was away from academia and I'm not used to taking tests for a while. So if one or two things go wrong in the exam, I get flustered, and that sort of mind freeze impacts the whole test, if you know what I mean. So I
Yes.
really had to visualize those situations when I was taking sectional tests, or when I was solving some hard questions. I had to visualize, like, I was in the test room, I was under stress, and I was feeling that anxiousness, that nerves, so that in the real test, if the same thing happens, I should be able to manage it better. And that
Mm,
worked out, like feeling those nerves, feeling those pressure, and then
mm,
solving a question really helped me. And coming to the mindfulness stuff, I did 2 hours of meditation for last 2 weeks before my fourth attempt. And then in the last week, let's say last week, I reduced my prep a little bit down and then focused on mindfulness stuff more. So yeah, that's what happened between third and fourth attempt.
I read your debrief, and it said that you also went to watch Dhurandhar 2 just before your attempt, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that would have been a great inspiration for you to take the revenge from GMAT and get a good high score, no?
Yeah, yeah. So, regarding the last week, I would stress on not practicing so much. What I did was the first 3 days of that week, I tried to go back to my error log and try to not solve, but see like what were the mistakes I did and what I could have done better. I had noted those down methodically in my error log. So I just had to go back and sort of revise those things. And the last 4 days again, sorry, in the first 3 days of the last week, again, I solved easy medium questions that I made error on because that's that's the part where you need to get things right. Like if you make errors in easy or medium questions, you will be penalized heavily in GMAT. On the other hand, if you make errors on hard questions, you are not penalized so much. So you really have to be very meticulous. If you want to get a high score, you need to get all easy and medium questions right. So I try to solve them methodically and try to not do procedural errors in the first 3 days. And in the last 4 days, again, the same revision continued without solving anything. And I increased my meditation a bit more, like 2 hours, 2 hours in the last 2 weeks. But again, I started going as much as possible each day. And
Mhm.
also, like when during this last week, you will have so much thoughts coming into your head. What if I don't get things right this time? What if I need to take one more attempt? So in order to sort of not flush out really, but not get affected by those thoughts, it's really important to practice meditation or whatever takes you away from these thoughts. For me, it was meditation, so I did that. And regarding Durandar, like one of my coach, like recommended me to, take complete break from GMAT the one day before. So if I was sitting at my room, then I would definitely thought about GMAT. Even if I didn't solve, I would be thinking about it. So I
Mhm.
called a bunch of my friends and we went to Durandar, and it was good, obviously. And it was also a long movie. And once
Yeah,
we
and half
had
of your day would have been covered in the movie. Yeah,
yeah, and like
correct.
once we had dinner and stuff, it was like 6 7 hours in
Mm,
total. So yeah, that's like
correct.
spending a day out. And then I came back home and meditated again for like 2 hours and just slept. And in the morning, I did some light
Hmm.
practice, and then especially in on the areas of my strength, and
Hmm.
mostly easy questions. I haven't really touched even medium questions. So that light practice is to get you in the right mood for the test. So that's
Correct.
what I did. And yeah, my hotel was like very near to, in fact, the opposite building of the GMAT test center. So it was like a
All right.
walkable distance. And since because I took the exam in Bangalore, traffic is a problem. So I wanted to avoid those things. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the test. Then I went to the test and gave it my best shot.
All right. So, since we're already talking about how your days look like, would you tell us how your weekdays versus your weekends look like? Because I believe you were also working full time, right? During the entire
Mm.
course of your preparation.
Mm.
So, how did you manage both weekends and weekdays?
Yeah, so my role, it's pretty intense, I would say, like because it's unpredictable when a cyber attack happens, and whenever it happens, I get a call, and ideally I should be there. My team is very supportive, so sometimes they will, they will try to take the initiative, but yeah, but even I had to prioritize my work sometimes, but on an average day, what I did was I got up at like 6 a.m., 5:30
Mm-hmm.
a.m., and then I started my study at like 6 a.m. So from 6 to 8 a.m., I did a very focused prep. I went through um, conceptual material, and then try to solve some related questions in those
Mhm.
2 hours. And then I worked from 9 to 6, and then from 6 to 8 in the evening again. I sat down for 2 hours of focus preparation, and then again, like
Mhm.
I try to rotate between two subjects on a single day. Like if I did quant earlier in the morning, then I would do verbal in the evening, so that I
Mhm.
don't get that brain freeze. So
Yeah.
and yeah, that worked out for me. And initially I did only quant and verbal, and once I finished solving the OG questions of quant and verbal, then I shifted to data insights. And then I used to alternate between these three subjects. So that was during the weekdays. And during the
Mhm.
weekends, during the weekdays I usually spent on an average 4 hours. During the weekends I had more time, so I tried to spend on an average 8 hours. And it included some study, some problem solving, some debriefs just like this, and also um, sometimes sectional tests, sometimes official mocks. Though those things happen during weekend. So yeah, that's how my prep looked like.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. Now let's talk about the D Day. Walk us
Mhm.
through the whole experience of your exam day, the last one, and of course, then your reaction of seeing the big 715 on your screen.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. So yeah, I went to the exam day, and they will do a thorough checking in the test center. They will ask you to pat yourself and other things, and then you also have to do your palm scan. So after those things, they give me a system and uh, ask me to start the test. So my usual order or preferred order of taking GMAT is data insights, verbal, then break, and then quant. So
Mm.
I again, took the same order. That was the order that worked for me in the past. So I kind of stuck to that order. So I started with data insights. First question was easy. Second question was easy. Third question was very hard. It was a non-math based TPA, and I couldn't make sense of it. So yeah, I made a decision to skip it, and then I ended up on fourth question. Again, fourth question was also very hard. So that was also non-math TPA. I couldn't figure it out. So again, I skipped, and by this time I was a bit nervous because I was kind of in this thinking that I might maybe I made two consecutive errors and my score might go down. But still, like since I had visualized these things in during my prep, I was okay to continue the test, and I wasn't really flustered by these things. I got myself back and tried to solve other questions. And honestly, like other questions didn't really feel easy for me, but yet like I was able to solve it convincingly. And I reached 20th question, and I didn't really have enough time on 20th question, so I marked it randomly and moved on to the verbal section. So verbal section, I didn't really feel it was really hard while I was solving it. I
Mm.
was uh, I was doing it like I did in the mock, and I was very confident that I might get a high score in verbal. And then I took
Mm.
a break, and I was very positive during the break as well. I was like, I got this, and I had a Gatorade, I had a chocolate, and then
Mhm.
again, like I did some deep breaths, and then with an open mind, I started quant as well. In quant, like quant was my strength area, and because I did well in other two sections, I was fairly confident. I was like, the questions may be hard, so I should be ready to skip because the mistake from my past can happen again. So
Correct.
yeah, I started with the questions, and I got around I couldn't solve around five questions in the first go, like um, first go of the quant section. But what I could do is I did other 15 questions properly, and I convincingly skipped these five questions that I felt hard without really thinking much about it. And then I came back and solved three of those. So
Mhm.
ultimately, like I got two questions wrong in quant, and
Mhm.
yeah, my overall score was 715. So when I saw that score, I was really happy, obviously, and I was very thankful to God. Like this
Finally.
has been a very intense journey for me, and seeing that score, it was like getting a monkey off your back, and I felt that relief at that moment. And then yeah, I came out of, I actually didn't really see my quant score during that. Like I saw 715, I saw DI 86, verbal 84, and I didn't really think of anything else. I was like, I didn't really even bother to see quant score. I came out of the test center, and then I back calculated my quant score, so I knew I ended up at 87. So I
Mhm.
was a little bit sad because I felt I had the caliber to get 90 at quant, but I mean,
Mhm.
these are the things you have to let go. You should focus on the positive things, and 715 is a very good score. So yeah, I was very happy, and then I spent the rest of the day chilling with my friends and partying a bit. So yeah, that's what I did.
Oh my God, that truly was a roller coaster journey, Bhanu.
Mhm.
Before we wrap up, though, is there any
Mhm.
final piece of advice that you'd like to share with other test takers, who may be going through similar ups and downs just like you did?
Sure, sure. So one thing I would say is like don't don't doubt yourself. Like I know it's easy to say, and there will be moments when you doubt yourself, but what's important is always have your own back. Like there might be people that you admire, there might be closer ones who might say like this is not working, maybe you should stop preparing for this and focus on other things. So
Mm-hmm.
there will be naysayers, but always trust your instincts and always back yourself. Be confident and always be positive. Be hopeful that you will get that magic score one day. And yeah, grind. That's what I did. I tried to grind as much as possible, and GMAT gives you 8 attempts for that particular reason, right? Like execute, like even if you are at the top of your game conceptually, execution can go wrong because of some uncontrollable reasons. That might be anxiety, that might be some technical glitch during the test, but you can ideally correct it in other like forthcoming attempts. So always be positive, always um, always back yourself to get that score, and you will end up at that high score. So yeah, that's my message.
All right. And on that note, huge congratulations to you, Bhanu, for an incredible 715, especially after everything it took to get there. It was
Yeah.
amazing to have you with us, and
Mhm.
I'm sure our viewers found your journey, both relatable and motivating. Thank you for sharing it so openly with us, Bhanu.
Thank you, Sajal. This was really, incredible session to, take me back through that journey and sharing with other folks. So I hope this helps other people as well who are in the same boat as me. And all the best for those folks. And thank you for hosting. You have been a wonderful host, Sajal. Thank you.
Mm, most welcome. Thank you, Bhanu. Bye bye, everyone. We'll see you in the next session.
Bye.